It's 12:17. I'm in my coffee, which doesn't have a brand on it, coffee shop. That's quite new, isn't it? They use unbranded coffee cups. They're probably stolen. Anyway, I'm in Apostrophe, and I thought I'll just give you a bit of an update. I always talk about that. I give you like these bite-sized little nuggets, and today's one of them. I was listening to my favorite podcast, one of my friends in the US, Ben Greenfield. He talked on his podcast about a new study which came out, and talking about how bodyweight training can actually build muscle. And this is something I get asked all the time because my channel is very much about bodyweight training. And he says, well, there was a study conducted. So for example, if you train your chest, and I think that's what the measurement conducted was. So for example, if you train your chest, and that was sort of the benchmark in that study, I think they were looking at how you can increase size and strength in your chest. And so he says there's no real difference between people who do bench pressing, and I think it was like 70% of your 1 rep max for sets of 12, 3 sets of 12, or you do push-ups to failure. And that actually showed that both groups were able to sustain their muscle mass and also increase muscle by doing so. And that shows that if you are on the go and you don't, let's say you're a bodybuilder, right? Or let's say into aesthetics, and you go into a hotel room, if you do squats, push-ups, pull-ups to failure, you can be certain that you won't lose any muscle. And as someone who wants to build muscle, that's a very great way to do so. So find bodyweight exercises, do them to failure, or like I teach sometimes, you know, instead of doing them to failure, try to increase the difficulty. Let's say instead of doing a push-up, do a diamond push-up, or do different hand variations. Therefore you're hitting your chest on different angles. This is something I want to put in here. So let me know what you think about it. Leave a comment in the comment box below, and let's move on to another question. Alright, so today I've got one client actually, and then I'm going to train, and I'm going to talk about my challenges today. What kind of challenges? I have 3 in mind, which I will update you on in a second. I'm just gonna grab some water, we'll have a sit down and we'll talk about it because I'm really excited about it, and I took some of your advice, so that's gonna be pretty cool. Alright guys, let's talk about challenges. I know you guys have been asking me, Mark, what's your next challenge? And you know, you've done the 1,000 rep challenge and so on. Now what I want to share with you is I have a couple of challenges in mind, so I'm actually going to do a couple more challenges in one. So you've got more content to watch, and you know, it's probably more fun as well. So one of them is going to be a food challenge, but that one is going to be at the end of the month. It's just going to be one day. It's a bit like the 10,000 calorie challenge, but I'm not going to reveal it yet because you're going to be surprised seeing that. But anyway, it's going to be a fun one. But the actual challenges I'm going to be doing is I want to increase my standing ability. So how long can I actually stand in my handstand, because that's something I'm going to be working on, doing handstand push-ups and stuff like that. So therefore I need to develop my handstand ability. That's one challenge I'm going to be doing. Another one is my flexibility. I'm going to be checking, getting back into my splits. I can't do a full split at the moment, so I want to do and develop that. But that obviously takes time. But I'm going to take you through all of this training because I think it's interesting to see the training part of this. How do I get into a full split? How do I develop my strength to be able to hold the handstand? So these are 2 things. So last challenge I'm taking on, and this is inspired by you guys. You said, why don't you do endurance challenge? Now first of all, I hate endurance. I hate running for long distances, so that's nothing I'm going to be doing. But what I do like is high intensity training, so HIIT training, HIIT sessions, sprinting ability, and I think that's a really cool thing to do. Now I need to wait until the helicopter is gone. And the way I'm going to be doing this, I can't do this today, but tomorrow I will measure my 100 meter sprinting time, and my goal is to increase that time within the next 2 weeks. So you're going to be seeing me doing sprint training, and how do I go about this sort of challenge, because I think this is an amazing sort of workout anyway, to not only drop body fat but to increase performance, to you know, get stronger faster and all these things. So this is going to be really exciting. I'm really looking forward to this. And yeah, let me know your thoughts. Do you think this is a cool challenge to do? Write a comment in the comment box below. And yeah, I mean, this is just for 2 weeks, guys, because at the end of the month I'm going to be flying out to Germany and therefore that's when we sort of end off all these challenges. And then when I'm in Germany, I need to see what kind of environment I'm in, so what kind of training equipment and so on I have, and then we'll think of the next challenge. What do you guys say? Yes or no? Boom! Yesterday I introduced my friend, which I'm going to be meeting in Germany, Felix, right? And he finds it quite funny to send me pictures of him buying stuff I buy. So here you go. This is so that's my friend Felix, which I introduced to you guys yesterday, and he's in Glasgow at the moment, and he finds it I think he just wants to be featured on my channel. But anyway, so yesterday, if you haven't seen it, he was drinking Costa coffee, like which I do, and I also buy this smart water, so he thought it's funny sending me that picture as well. So Felix, this was your spot. Alright guys, it's 4 o'clock, I'm back home. The thing is, today's my chill day really. I'm just relaxing, and you know, I'm actually gonna have a nap now because I worked out in the gym a little bit, which you've seen my handstand stuff and my splits, which I explained before. That's something I'm trying to be training on. Yeah, but for now I'm just gonna hit the bed, sleep a little bit. I need to cut the video for today's vlog actually, and later on I'm gonna answer some of your questions. I'll see how the day goes. I'm gonna probably watch a couple of episodes of Arrow. I'm watching the Arrow. Don't judge me on that. Yeah, time to get up. Wow, what was that? 2 hours? No, 1 hour 40 minutes. Here's the sleep cycle app. Time to get up. Ooh, my god, look at my hair, holy shit. You know what, I need to go to the freaking hairdresser and get this sorted out. Anyway, so I'm gonna order an Uber, I'm gonna see a friend now, we're gonna eat something, and then I'm gonna cut my video there. So, let's do this. I'm now waiting for the Uber to come, and then, yeah. That's the cool thing about Uber, isn't it? You can really order it anywhere, and it takes you also anywhere. I'm trying the first time this Uber pool thing, so you're actually sharing the car with someone else. So let's see how that goes. It says it's arriving now, so let's see. How are you doing? Yeah, I'm alright.
You know you don't pull.
Yeah, I know. That's fine. Do you have more people getting the Uber pool now, or do they use the normal Ubers?
There is more increase because I think they're advertising a lot as well now, yeah?
Yeah.
Maybe, I'm not sure, but yeah, we do get more pool now. It's okay, daytime is okay. I don't recommend people to do it nighttime because, yes, on the profile you can see, but when people get drunk, it's a different story. Yeah, you might be sober, the next one might be too drunk, next one have to stop for puking, maybe then they get messy, and the next one. Yeah, but overall it's good.
Alright, we're here. I think I need to cross the street. Oh! You sometimes get very talkative taxi drivers. Not taxi drivers, Uber drivers. That was really nice. I mean, he was a nice guy. Wow, look at my illuminated face. This looks amazing with my iPad. Looks more like a horror show. Anyway, Vivek Kumar is asking, hey Mark, what's your opinion on testosterone booster supplements? I read about it on the website a couple of days ago claiming to be safe, but you know, as far as I have read and heard, they aren't. What are the side effects and other consequences of using them? How do you know you've got low testosterone? Well, it might be that you've got low libido, low sex drive, erectile dysfunction, fatigue, poor energy levels, a decrease in muscle mass, hair loss, difficulty in concentration, even depression, irritability, low sense of well-being. So these are sort of things which are linked to, if any of that rings a bell, it could be that you have low testosterone. Now, reason being why people seek now, you know, these testosterone boosters, especially in fitness, is because it's linked to building muscle and losing fat. The reason why you want a testosterone booster is to counteract all of these things I just mentioned. You know, you want to be able to have sex, you want to be able to build muscle, lose fat, you know, be happy, and so on. So this is like, it's the male hormone, right? Now, in terms of testosterone boosters, whatever you can buy on the market, I would not touch that at all. Because the way your body creates testosterone is by being in a healthy sort of environment, which means eating healthy, doing exercise regularly, and having a good sleeping pattern. All these things I always preach, and your testosterone level will go up or will reach your optimum level. So whatever testosterone booster you buy and what they tell on their packages, you know, I'm not a big fan of them because, quite frankly, you cannot trust what is on that package. And the only reason you would seek something called testosterone replacement therapy, TRT, is something when you go to a doctor and they actually diagnose you with very low testosterone, and you get shots like with a injection or patches or creams and stuff which has testosterone inside, and that is something your doctor will you know, say you should be taking. I would not recommend that by doing that without seeing your doctor. Now, that said, I know a lot of YouTubers actually do take the same amount of testosterone you would take within the testosterone replacement therapy. The reason being is because if you take it, it's a bit like a steroid, you know. If you have a very high testosterone level, you will build muscle easy, you will lose fat easily. So this is part of, you know, it isn't the steroid, but it has a very, very good effect on building a muscular body. So you might see some dudes in the gym who are actually on testosterone, you know, so to speak. Some of them might also take growth hormone and stuff, but, you know, don't just leave the fingers away from that stuff. Yeah, that said, I hope that answers your question. Let's move on to the next one. So Ryan is asking a question which is very common. He says, Mark, what do you think about losing weight and gaining muscle at the same time? Because he read something in another vlog where someone talked about a clean bulk, and he wants to know my sort of opinion on this. So first of all, there's only one environment where gaining muscle and losing weight actually happens, and that is at the very beginning when you get into lifting. That can be at a young age, or if you haven't lifted for a while and you get back into it. And these, you know, in terms of growth science and whatever language you will say, they call it newbie gains. And that is sort of for the first half year to a year maybe where that happens, where your body changes. But once you hit that stage, like half a year or a year later, then you have to really decide, what are you aiming for? Are you really aiming for weight loss, or are you aiming for bulking up? Bulking up happens if you're in a calorie surplus. Losing weight if you're in a calorie deficit, and if you're happy with where you are, you go into maintenance calorie intake. We talked about this loads of times, and if you watch my dieting series, I talk about this more extensively. So let's talk about clean bulking. Now, clean bulking in general just means that you are in a calorie surplus, so you're in an environment to build muscle. But the reason why they call it clean bulk is because they are on a very, very strict sort of macronutrient split, and they really stick to very, very clean, lean foods. Like the meat is very, very, you know, it's lean foods. There's the fat is, you know, saturated fat and so on is cut out. The fats they're taking in are probably coconut oil, avocados, and olive oil and stuff like that. And the carbs are like, you know, complex carbs like brown rice and oats and stuff like that. So this is the diet they're on. And people believe that by doing that in a clean bulk, you can still lose fat. But that's a myth. Other diet concepts where you do this bulking and cutting cycle, I think it's recomp diets, I talked about that before, is when you do the cutting and bulking in a week. So you cut 1 week, you bulk 1 week, cut 1 week, bulk 1 week, or do it in a 2-week cycle, or you do intermittent fasting and stuff like that. So there are many ways of, so many different dieting options and so on. But generally speaking, all you need to know is increasing muscle mass, stay in a moderate surplus, something 300 to 500 calories, moderate deficit, 300 to 500 calories for losing weight. And both building muscle and losing weight doesn't happen overnight. Give it time, and yeah, most of the time it needs more than 2 or 3 months. I hope that helped you. Let's move on. Okay, next question comes from Hussein. I think it's Shazahib Hussein. I hope I said that right. He's talking about saying, Mark, I have a little bit of a problem. When he was in high school, he was very active, played soccer. He was very, athletic and did plyometric training and so on. And for the last 3 years, when he graduated, he basically fell off the wagon and says, how should I start again? What should I do? Let's clarify this a little bit. If you really like playing soccer, then that's the thing you should be doing. Find a good soccer club, get back into the hang of things. The soccer coach will know what to do and how to get you back into shape. But if you want to take this, if you want to change your body shape in terms of, looking better and aesthetic way, and soccer playing isn't really for you anymore, then I can give you tips on how to do that. But you need to let me know. Find a soccer club and get on with it, my friend. So the next question I want to answer is from Jazz Devil, and he says, you know what, I've been working out with DVDs now over the last 2.5 years, and he's currently at a still stand. He doesn't really know what to do. He says, maybe I have a period where I don't do anything to put my goals back into perspective and start fresh, because, so he's asking me, so what do you think? So the first thing I want to say, Jazz Devil, that is a great idea. A great idea is thinking about why you want to do what you're doing. I always talk about the why. The why is the most important thing, is why you freaking show up in the gym. And if you don't know why, then the 2.5 years you've been jumping around in front of your TV and doing insanity workouts and so on, they won't get you anywhere, because you don't know why you're doing the freaking insanity thing. And just moving your body for the sake of it is not going to get you anywhere. I've done this now and seen it with many clients of mine when they come to me and say, Mark, I want to be fit. And I'm like, great. What does fit mean to you? If you can't define that in a longer sentence and really have a picture in your head of where you want to be, then I can't help you. The DVD will not help you. No one can really help you. So you need to make sure to figure out why do you want to do things, and then also where do you want to be. This is so crucial to figure that out. Otherwise, you're going to be one of these people running on treadmills for 5 years, not seeing any results, scratching your head and saying, you know what, exercising ain't for me. It doesn't get results. And that's bullshit. Exercise and nutrition and sleep will always get results. But you need to define the result. Otherwise, you won't get it, right? It's so freaking simple. So please don't take this the wrong way. I'm not having a go at you. All I'm saying is that, I think you agree with me, it is about really getting your mindset first on where you want to go, where do you want to be, get that result in your head, and then start working out. Start working towards that, rather than, doing stuff for the sake of it is never a good idea. You're just wasting time. And also the way getting there, like I'm going to be showing you on this channel in terms of like high intensity training and so on and so forth, you can save time by getting to that result if you train smarter, rather than like the people I see on treadmills for 5 hours, right? Let me teach you, so stay tuned. So Anton wants to know, he says, Mark, what do you think about CrossFit? Is it a good way of staying healthy or not? Because it gets a lot of criticism online or in general. Now, I talked about CrossFit before, but what I can say about it is there is in a way a justification for the hate they're getting, because the videos you see online from people doing clean and presses, deadlifts, and the pull-up variations of CrossFit, they don't look technically all right, but it is a sport, and the idea of it is to finish things as fast as possible. So the way they're doing it is as efficient as possible. Now, with everything, if it is competitive, it doesn't mean to say it's a healthy sport. Especially at sports uni, we had this discussion a lot of times. When I think about when they said as soon as it gets into a competitive level, no sport is really healthy. Because even running, or martial arts, or swimming, or whatever it is, gymnastics. If you're doing it to a professional level, you can bet your ass that you're putting your body through a lot of pace and pressure and wear and tear and so on. So no, it's not a good idea. Any sport to do it too much is gonna wear you out. Now with CrossFit, the reason why it gets so much hate is because they're saying technically they're not that well and so on. But like I said, it is a competitive sport. It's about time. It's not about technique really. It's about being efficient. What do I think about it? Well, you know, it depends what you really want. You will get results with it, obviously. I know a lot of CrossFitters, I met them, and they look and they're in amazing shape. But CrossFit isn't around that long, so we don't know the side effects of people doing CrossFit over 30 years. How will they look like? How are their knees, their hips, and their shoulders and joints looking when they're getting older? What I do know is that when you do gymnastics to a professional level and you get older, you have joint problems. People who were of Olympic athletes, now sometimes they're in a wheelchair because they can't walk anymore. They need disc and stuff replacements later on when they're older. So no, I don't think it's a good idea. There's no real answer to this. It's a preference. Me as a coach, it's hard. I wouldn't put a beginner through that workout. I think there are better ways of getting to that body shape. But if you're that sort of person who is into fitness and likes competitive sports, then CrossFit is probably the right thing to do. So yeah, I hope that answered your question. You know, I could go on about this probably another half an hour, but yeah, we don't have that long. Alright guys, that's all I have for today, so leave a comment in the comment box below. I would like to know what you guys think, what kind of challenge I should be doing. Are these 3 challenges something you are interested in? Is it the right choice? I don't know. Let me know. We have to have the discussion. This is a dialogue, not a monologue. So keep talking to me. And now it's time to punch the like button, punch the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys freaking tomorrow.